horses or horse girls?
Oh gosh, not the horse girl, not that anime. I'm never watching that one. If you ask, I'm not. So don't suggest. That is one, right?
Yeah,
A racing one. Yeah.
very popular.
Yeah. And
I mean, is it any weirder than any other one?
yeah.
Is it?
Freaking horses. Yeah, it is. Horses, dude. That's weird. Humanoid horses. I mean, they're all weird, but that one's sort of takes the cake for me because I know why they're horses and I know why it's popular, and that's the disturbing part. You
What
know.
about like battleships and stuff?
Yeah, that's a different sort of. I don't know. I can't say too much about those. I can't speak
How
on
is that
those, but
different?
it's it's different, man. You know why it's a horse? Like with the battleship, it's just a goofy plot thing. So or it's just it's whatever.
What do you
With the
mean? Why
horses,
it's a
it's diff-
horse?
you know why it's a horse. You know what I mean. It's a horse. Welcome back
Where the
to
hell is this
the
chat? I'll paste this.
Just
Look,
looking for the chat. Okay. This is what I remember, but I remember them having. I don't know. I don't know where I remember seeing, man. Welcome back to the Untitled Podcast. It's been 2 years since we've last recorded. How are you, sir?
man. Oh no. He's gonna say, oh, he's ready to record this weekend after disappearing for like a month and then has the audacity to ask me to pop in when I'm ready.
I'm just saying, when you know what I'm about, you have to come for me. You have to come after me. You have to make sure that I'm, ready to go. You know that
Bro.
I'm
That's a
perpetually not ready.
that's a proud moment right there. You know, I like remind you like every at least every month or so.
It's true. It's true. Well, like I told you when we last met up, I told you November I'd be ready. And here we are. It's November 6th. I'm going to date this episode as November 6th, 2022. Twitter is imploding.
How's 2023 going, guys?
I think you'd be 2024. I think you'd be
True.
2024. Anyways, today there's no topic, there's no research, there's no nothing. We're just going to talk. We're just going to talk about what's been going on, what's been released, what we're interested in, that sort of thing. Excited to basically just dump all of the millions of things that I have done in between then. In between the last time I guess I've done this, which when did we record the now and then here and there? One that was like
July
uh,
25th.
July. This man has receipts. Yes,
Because
receipts.
my new recording is going right next to the last one.
Perfect. Well, before I start with I guess the actual bulk of the content, just a quick update in the personal life. Obviously a lot of personal development, a lot of work stuff, a lot of life stuff. The most relevant thing to this podcast is the development of my website, which I've not really yet been sold on what I want to name it yet, but essentially it'll be my little personal database for all of my shows that I'm watching, and I'll probably update it with manga and games as well as I put in the work. I realized as I've, started building this thing that it's a lot of work. Like even if I try to automate it, there's still the manual task of just adding all of that stuff. And I have so many titles to add. This is going to be a very, very long project, but super excited. Is looking good. That's all I have to say. I mean, I'm learning how to become a full stack developer pretty much to make this site. So,
I
well,
mean, the fact that you made all this from scratch, you've already exceeded what my work skill requires.
that's crazy. That's right, because y'all are because you really just work within Drupal, right? As far as like
Yeah, mostly just front end, CSS, Twig stuff,
gotcha,
Drupal.
gotcha.
I might
Yeah,
become full
it's.
stack though.
I think you should, man. I mean, like I was telling you the other day, um you have that free time, work on that personal development. It's been rewarding just working on that. I am scared of the back end part though. The back end part has got me a little because HTML, CSS, that's regular basic stuff. Then you have to add JavaScript, which is predominantly front end, but then you can implement that back end, and then we start talking about Node.js and all these other things, and I'm just like, oh, I got to figure out how to put all of this stuff together, because ultimately what it really is going to do is just export those pages as I forget the file type, but essentially the file type that Cody uses in order to make the pages for the shows and movies, and then that way I just put in the content into the website, and then I automatically generate that file type for Cody, and then just work seamlessly that way. But that's a long time from now. At the very least, the site is up, so or not up. It's moving. So
I
fun times.
mean,
What about you?
it's looking
Oh,
good.
go ahead.
I think
I appreciate.
the really fulfilling part will be when you get the automation working and
Yeah.
then you just generate everything and it
Yes.
works. That's
That is gonna be the fun
gotta be
part.
some catharsis right there.
Yeah, because I know with getting automation to work, it's just like it's so painful. But then once you get it, like actually like doing it correctly, it's just like yes. I think even just getting it automated to the point where I'm not like actually manually adding the content. Well, what I mean by that is like actually going into the HTML and CSS and manually adding things. Like I can just put it in forms essentially, and then it just sort of populates the stuff on the page. Just that alone, probably just that would be awesome. But one thing at a time. Right now, I'm just happy enough to lay it out how I want it to look. Um, I pretty much finished the individual pages. So what I'm gonna probably work on next is just getting like the episode page. It's gonna be pretty simple, but still work stylistically with what I want. And then probably the last thing I'll do honestly is make the homepage because I don't have a clear vision of how I want that laid out. I'm not really sure yet. But we'll get there.
You said
But
this was
yes.
for class project, technically?
No. I was working on the certificate course for Free Code Camp, which by the way, I'm gonna plug them really quick because they have a fantastic like just self-training resource that you can just go through to learn. It's extremely awesome. I've learned a lot. It definitely upped my skills considerably. And so what I did for like the final quiz before you get the certificate, they have a quiz that allows you to make a portfolio, or it's tasking you to make a personal portfolio. But I decided I was just gonna go ahead and make one of my pages for a for the website essentially. And so I just sort of did a very rough early draft that sort of used the guidelines from the quiz, but also was designed in the way that I wanted the page to look. And then I used that to get my certificate. I've taken it out of there now, and I've sort of restructured it much better to sort of fit an actual site and what I wanted to do. But I was pretty proud of that, just to be able to, be skilled enough to sort of take their guidelines for what they're sort of wanting me to make, and then making my own thing and still passing the quiz. So I would honestly, for anybody that's looking into becoming a developer, with those sort of tools, because they have a ton. Like I think they said it's approximately like 3,000 hours of coursework. It's just all sorts of different stuff. There's JavaScript, there's backend, there's algorithmic stuff. There's all sorts of stuff. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they have so many different courses. I'm gonna stick to just the web stuff for now, but who knows? Maybe one day I'll go back and go through all of their stuff. Right now I've taken a slight break because I was going through the JavaScript course. It's really just the very basic stuff like variables and calculations and stuff like that. But I'm excited to when I can start doing the fun stuff with JavaScript and being able to, implement stuff into my page. So freecodecamp.org, I think. It may be .com. I don't remember. It's one of those. Just Google Free Code Camp. Awesome resource. Very much worth the time investment. So
Man, I'm gonna remember that and not go to it eventually, like everything else I do.
I'm gonna plug it. I'm gonna plug it for you. I'm gonna plug it after this show, and I'm gonna plug it like every other day. I'm gonna send it to you in Teams. I'm gonna send it to your work chat. I'm gonna go put in a ticket, and I'm specifically put your
Oh
name in the ticket so
my
that
gosh.
that it goes to you. And I want your coworkers to be like, do you know this guy? And I want you to just be like, no. Just want you to be no. And I'm gonna send you just a very nice message, just like go do the certificate now.
Your account would probably be flagged for spam.
It's okay. Well, are y'all on are y'all on the same ticket system as ITS, or are y'all on a different one?
We're the same one. TDX?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm in TDX, so they won't flag me. I'm also a TDX user.
No, they'll
So
flag you because you're sending suspicious things out.
no, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. Oh gosh. Anyways, but yeah, website. That's exciting. Probably if I can learn to actually be consistent and show up for these podcasts, that's probably where these will go too. And I'll probably actually bypass. Well, I'll put it on YouTube and then I'll also just put it directly on the site. That way I have it both ways. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. Speaking of that, before I move on from the website too, I was thinking about it as well. I have all of these, obviously I buy all of my stuff. Like most of them have trailers and stuff, and it's so hard to find trailers on YouTube. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I can technically just rip the trailers from my disc, throw them on the website, truly making it like a resource, Might actually get some real traffic for this site. I'm not sure. I'm still debating if I actually want to add or allow users. I'm not sure yet. I definitely want to add review sections, but that will be later down the line. The first part will really just be getting the site up, just getting it up with the base information and then slowly adding the pages as I go. If I feel like I want to do reviews or user comments, we'll see. I might just make a separate page for those on each page. That way people can just put whatever they want if they want to add something.
That's gonna be tough.
It probably will. I'm thinking
Internet
if I were
comments,
to,
man.
yeah, yeah. I'm thinking if I do that, I probably won't build it from scratch, although it would be good practice to probably build that from scratch as far as like the user service interface, whatever. I may just like, I don't know, use Discus or another API, LTI, whatever you want to call it, and put it in the site, but we'll see. I feel like Discus would just be easier, right? But may not
Yeah,
be as satisfying as like actually building out my own user thing once I have that skill set.
you won't have to
Definitely that
manage all
latter.
of their logins and security tokens and whatever.
Yeah, which is like I don't really want to do that. It's good practice. Like maybe I'll set up I'm obviously gonna have like a what's it called, a failover site, not failover, but basically a development site. So maybe I could just build that on the development site but never push it to the production site just because it'd be good to know how to do that. But otherwise, yeah, I'll probably just utilize a resource that already exists that makes my life easier. Moderation is the other thing though, like you're sort of getting at, and I'm just like, I don't want to moderate. I'm already looking at like thousands of pages of content. There's no way I'm gonna be able to like just keep my eyes on every page and see what's going on. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where that takes us. But excited, excited. I was surprised at how quickly I was able to put the site together with the skills I learned from freecocamp.org.
Nice.
Please, please sponsor us. Please sponsor.
I don't even
Actually,
know
they
who
could.
you are.
I don't know if they could sponsor us. I would sponsor them, but I don't think they sponsor us. It's funny. This is no slight against Free Co-Camp, but when you get your certificate, like they have a hidden thing on the page at the top for the person who actually got the certificate, because I can send the page to you for my certificate. You can see that. But this little hidden section, and it's like it's not easy, getting this certificate. You know what else is not easy? Hosting this site. It's like, give us
Oh,
$5 a month. I mean, it's completely free, per the name. So there's that. But I'm definitely gonna, once I'm done, I'm definitely gonna probably donate up to a reasonable amount that a certificate would cost. Just because, again, I feel like it's an awesome resource. Like I learned a crap ton. I think it was a combination of that and developing a course in Canvas, utilizing its crappy HTML editor. Those really helped me out a lot. So yeah, but enough about the website. What have you been up to, sir?
man, really not much. Like, legitimately not much. In how many months? 4, 3.5 months since last episode. Just lots of content consumption.
Which we'll talk about, but outside of the content consumption,
Nope.
nothing.
Nope. Work is the same as always, even especially same as recently, just not even able to perform work at no fault of my own.
That's why I
So
told you, man.
just
That's why I told you. Personal development. You have the time. It's time for you to grow your wings.
see, in hindsight, that would have been a good time because I didn't know they would take so long to not do it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just for a security role, which I'm surprised they, from the migration from 8 to 9, that they had to completely like re-add your account again.
Yeah, I
Which
mean,
I'm
yeah,
surprised they overlooked you when I would imagine they would have just rolled over all of the same people. So I'm not sure how that happened either. Why they had to request, they didn't do like a bulk request. Like, I don't know.
I mean, it happened when I first started working there. Like, I think about a year ago now. They just didn't add me to the server group. Except we didn't have all these security steps to jump through. They could just add me.
Gotcha. Folks are busy, I guess. That's not really an excuse, but I can definitely understand. October was a hell of a month. Like I would have liked to have been active or just alive or consuming content. October was, for lack of a better word, it was a female dog. It was not fun. But it's over. We're in November. I did consume content at a little bit through October, but a lot of this is also from the previous month since we've last spoke. The tail end of October was a little more relaxed, so I've enjoyed that. But yeah. Can you believe we're in November and it's almost December? They lit up downtown. I was actually driving back to my apartment and the Christmas stuff is already up in downtown and
Already.
I'm like, already, yes. Like it's fully like downtown is fully lit up and just ready for Christmas. I'm just like, y'all are crazy. Y'all are mad. But you know what? I like the disrespect for Thanksgiving. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving in this household, so let's keep it that way, you know? Let's
Okay.
keep it that way.
Okay.
I mean, you don't celebrate do you celebrate Thanksgiving?
No, never
Okay.
have.
I didn't think you did, but you never know.
The most
But
Thanksgiving I've ever experienced is the lunches at the school district.
yeah. Oh man, that unlocked a memory. Like I can taste those little pies and then the somewhat dry turkey and dressing that they serve. I remember. Gosh, has it really been like 7 years since I've been out of public school? That's kind of crazy to me. It seems so long ago, even though technically speaking, that was the longest portion of my life up until this point. Uh, we're we're getting there to the point where it's not gonna be somewhat soon, but it's kind of crazy. Gosh. Anyways, without getting I guess sad about getting old, I guess we can go ahead and move on to what we've been consuming, the content that we've been watching. So I don't think we necessarily need to break it down to like categories or anything like that. We can really just talk about whatever's mostly been interesting us or what's been most interesting to us and sort of maybe what we've been watching recently, what we watched not too long ago, yada yada yada. Do you want me to start or you want to start?
Have you watched a lot? Like a lot?
I've watched a decent bit of stuff, but I'm not gonna talk about everything I've watched and read. I'm gonna give the highlights, hopefully.
Because I've got
Um
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18 items on my checklist.
Dang. Well, you're doing better than me because I didn't make a checklist. I'm just doing this off the top. So, since you have quite a few, if you're wanting to go through those, you can go ahead and start. We can start with one of yours.
Okay. In terms of series, let's start with the big ones. Or, yeah, big and famous ones.
Mhm.
Probably the most recent series I've completed was the Cyberpunk Edgerunners series, which
Mm,
10 episodes, animated by Studio Trigger. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I remember seeing that one trending for a little bit. It actually came out of nowhere for me. It was probably advertised at some point, but I wasn't paying attention to it. 8 out of 10, huh? Is it like
I'll give it an 8.1 because I don't want to lump it in with the other 8s I have.
my man said? I'll give you the point one, not 0.5,
That's what I do on
not
my
9.
my Annie list. I give it like a partial point to separate it from the rest.
Is 8 like your average?
8
It's like
is enjoyable. There's a 50-50 chance I'll rewatch it in the future.
interesting.
If it's below that, probably won't rewatch it.
Interesting. Okay. So tell me a little bit about Cyberpunk. Just surface level. Like what is it about? Does it follow the plot of the game? Is it like a side story? Is it focused on characters?
It's
How much you
a
even know about Cyberpunk?
I don't know much about the actual game itself, but I just know that there are characters like featured in the game that are characters not main characters, but prominent side characters in the series, and it can probably be a standalone story. There's no relation to the campaign of the game. It's about this, I think he's 15-year-old street kid who's poor, lives in some dumpy apartment. His mom, I don't want to spoil it too much because I feel like you should watch it at some point. But then he gets into the like street life of the mercenaries, glorious violence,
Gotcha.
money.
So really, just very animated, a very anime like guy basically gets into the gang life in a cyberpunk setting, sort of deal. Or is
Yeah, when
that?
you say it like that, it doesn't sound as cool.
But that's what it. I mean, the thing is, if it's a Studio Trigger production, I can imagine like the premise is not all that like, well, the premise probably isn't as extreme, but it makes up. They make up for it with like the characters and the animation, obviously, and the set pieces and stuff like that. Um,
Yes,
it's Trigger.
that's
Would
exactly
you
it.
rate would you rate this as like one of their better series or maybe one of the more average series?
I think it definitely took him in a slightly different direction since they had to fit it into a world that they didn't create from scratch like their other series.
Gotcha.
Like can't think of like Kill la Kill, it's all anime original that they made up, while Cyberpunk has to somewhat adhere to the existing universe made by CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
But I don't think that stopped them at all. I think they were the ones that pushed for the lolly character.
Yeah, I saw the news about that. Which was
They were right.
uh, that's interesting. I probably I'll be honest, like anything with Trigger or remotely related to Gain X is it just interests me just because it's just it's over the top, it's fun, it's explosive, bouncy, all of these different words, right? I sort of like this new-ish style that Trigger is going for, which I mean, their style is you can see it from a glance, but like they sort of and I guess that's probably the causation of the director. Let me not talk too much like I know what I'm talking about, but the art direction has definitely been sort of in a similar way since like Promare, maybe before that, but I know it just looks a certain type of way. Um, when I think from what I remember seeing of this CD, not CD Project Red, of the Cyberpunk anime, had that very Promare look to it. And I like that style a lot. Very fun. So definitely will have to check it out. This is a random question. Did Studio Trigger do Darling and the Franks? That's them too, right? Or
They
am I getting that
co-produced with a A1.
A1? Okay, okay. I was just gonna say, hopefully, it ends better than that.
It
Because
it was it's a good ending, but it was not a happy ending.
that's fine. We watch now and then here and there, man. I'm fine with that. I'm
Man,
fine with
uh, I'd say
that.
they're equally as unhappy in magnitude for different reasons.
I mean, it's cyberpunk though. That kind of comes with the genre, to be honest. That sort of noir-esque feeling to everything. But cool. All right, give me another one, and then we can transition to something I've been looking at.
Okay, since we were talking about Trigger and Promar, I haven't seen Promar yet though. I watched Star Wars Visions, and they did animate, I think at least I want to say 2 episodes, but there's one of them that's like clearly this came off of like Studio Trigger's, like I don't know what to say, like their golden desk animation desk of like the most ridiculous animation regarding, I don't know, absurd, the most absurd thing.
So it's funny you bring that one up. Actually, I didn't think you had watched that one. So when I was thinking of like that style for when I was talking about Premiere and the cyberpunk anime, that Star Wars Vision, I couldn't remember the name of the animated short, but I it's so distinct. Like I remember when those were first being advertised, and I was like, that's freaking Studio Trigger, man. Like
Oh,
it just I haven't seen it, but I've heard that they're really, really good. Are those like how would I put this? How versed are you in Star Wars lore?
pretty well versed.
Okay, pretty well versed. Are they like canon or are they like novel level canon? If
Nah,
that makes sense.
they're not canon at all. It's all basically fan fiction.
Fanfic, gotcha. Okay. So no like there may be a few characters that are like from the main
Nope,
canon, but otherwise no character. So
nope.
it's like
Completely all new. They even like throw
and
all the lore out the window sometimes.
wow, that's crazy.
They just let the
That's crazy.
studios. Oh, that's how I interpreted or felt like they just give the studios free reign to do whatever they want. Just make it Star Wars themed.
That's interesting. That's super interesting. So like Would you say it's comparable to the if you've ever seen them, the Animatrix, which were those animated shorts made for the Matrix? If you know what I'm referring to.
Mm, it's been a long time, but may probably not. Oh, I would maybe it's way more freedom.
Way more freedom.
Like
Okay.
I the only there's very few things tying it to something Star Wars besides the obvious things like lightsabers. Well, that's
Gotcha.
actually just about it is lightsabers.
That's interesting. I probably have to give those a try. I mean, I kind of forget about them just because they live on Disney Plus, and I don't have Disney Plus. And sure, I have the Seas, but I don't just think about Star Wars.
They're
Did you only
short
just?
episodes.
Oh,
Was that?
wait, say that again.
They're all like really short episodes, like from 7 to 15 minutes each.
Interesting. So, oh, well, that's why it looks so good, man. It's only 7 to 10 minutes. Just pump that budget into 7 to 10 minutes worth of animation.
A lot of them have
Uh,
like some pretty good homages to classic films. Like the first one, the first episode is basically an Akira Kurosawa film
Interesting.
format.
I guess I'll have to check them out one of these days. It'll just be one of those random times where I just remember and go check it out. But I'll be honest, if I got Disney Plus, I'd be watching '90s Spider-Man cartoon before I got to Star Wars, just because of the nostalgia. But that's a different conversation
I
for
mean,
another day.
they're not
Um,
all great. Some are a little weak, but still pretty good. This one I give it an 8, just an
an
8.
eight, just an eight. But certain ones would probably get the point one.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm glad to use that from now on. Yeah, give it point one. That means there's a higher probability of me watching it again. It's still an eight in essence, but it's a rewatchable eight. That's what the 1.1 is for, rewatchable.
And that's what
That's why.
9s are like almost definitely rewatchable. And 10s are masterpieces, of course.
Very few tens in this life. Besides Yu Hakusho. That show's an 11. But alrighty then. Well, I'm actually not sure what I want to start with. There's a few shows I want to make sure I talk about. And there's also some manga I want to talk about as well. A surprise sleeper for me. Um, but let me talk about a non-anime show. Let me get spicy here, especially since we're coming off of October. Have you ever heard of Garo?
I've heard the name.
Okay. So I guess that's very vague. I'm not talking about Garo as in Fatal Fury or Mark of the Wolves. No, I am referring to Garo the Tokusatsu show, which essentially revolves around this Makai Knight whose duty it is to fight and destroy the horrors that are plaguing the world and killing people and humanity. That's just a very very basic overview of the series. It's actually got a ton of different properties. It's got a ton of live action seasons, but it's also got a ton of animated seasons as well. And I actually plan to go back and watch those anime because from what I saw of the first season of Garo, it's so good. It is so good. Like I think tokusatsu is one of those specializations of like I guess fan nerd culture that like you sort of have to want to watch it like, there's a certain type of person that likes Sentai or likes, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, Kamen Rider, that sort of thing, right? Uh Garo fits into that category, but it doesn't. Like I would show this show to people who don't watch Sentai. It was so fun. It's such a fun watch. And it's a lot more mature in its themes too. Like I mean it has the cheeseball corniness that a lot of these tokusatsu shows kind of have, but it's also got like serious themes. Like there was one particular episode where one of the horrors was a clown. Okay, so you already got the cheese, but so you have this couple coming down the stairs and they're just talking, and the clown comes before them and it basically like warps their mind where they start telling the absolute truth to each other, and then they just start throwing hands, and like the hands are like severe. It's like oh shit, like that type of severe. And then like this other group comes in and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then like the clowns corrupts them too, and it's just this all-out brawl, and people are like throwing trash cans into people, and then getting. I'm not doing it justice. I almost feel like I need to like put a video over what I'm saying so you can sort of see what I'm talking about. Like there's fun stuff here. There's a particular episode where it's really messed up. Like this lonerish computer programmer guy. He's bullied all the time, but he randomly finds this fish in a bottle and he accidentally like cuts himself over the fish and the fish eats the blood and he's like, oh, you like that? And then he basically just starts taking a box cutter to his hand and slowly drip feeding the fish. And that sounds fucked up because
What?
it is fucked up. It's very fucked up. And like you start to see the fish start to take a humanoid shape. Obviously it's a what are the names? The horror. It's a horror, but like the fish like consumes this one woman that comes in to bully the programmer, right? And then like it takes its hand and he sucks on her hand. It's fucked up. It's fucked up, but it's fun. It's so fun. Like I don't know how else to describe it. It is tokusatsu cheese. Like it is just a fun show. I know you were talking about an 8. This for the Darien meter. This is a 9.5 show. Like
Wow.
none of the episodes were just dry. Everything there was always an interesting plot. There's the main plot for the main characters, but then like with it being an episodic like monster of the week type of deal, like all of the episodic episodes were just so good. They were just so good. Like I really enjoyed the show. Even my wife, who I could, she's probably never gonna watch Super Sentai, right? She even watched and like, what the hell is this? And I was like, I know. It's so fun. It's a fun show. And I feel like I'm doing a horrible job of like explaining what it truly is. But I mean, it really just boils down to you have a scenario with the horrors, the main character in his like golden Makai suit fights the horror at the end, and then you have a subplot with this girl who was coated in the Makai blood or the horror's blood in the first episode, and sort of her relationship with the main character, and it progresses. But when you explain it like that, it's not as exciting as like actually just taking a microscope to each of those individual episode scenarios. So yes, I give it a personal daring rating of 9.5. The final like 3 episodes, like the escalation of that show, it just everything fits perfectly. The first season is 25 episodes. I haven't started on the second season yet just because I want to just allocate time to actually just sit down and truly enjoy it. I guess some things that might distract for some people, the first season is 4:3. Second season is in full HD, 16:9, but it's in 4:3. And then what was the other thing?
This is still
Some of the
Garo, right?
fights. Hmm?
This is still Garo.
Yes, we're still talking about Gara. Yes. The some of the fights are in CG, or a lot of the fights have CG in them, which the CGI is not bad. I mean, it's sort of that cheesy, but I mean, it's a tokusatsu show, so it fits with all of the cheesiness. But it's not. It's played for seriousness. It's not played for laughs. Like, there's not a lot of like intentional comedy. Like, there's slapstick a little bit, but like a lot of it is played pretty straight. So that may not be your thing. But yes, personal 9.5, an objective probably 8.5. If you like tokusatsu, right? So yeah, Garo is a fun time. I really 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 recommend it. It is PG-13, so there's titties
Nice.
and blood.
Uh,
So
so okay.
mm. So bear that in mind. But
I'm looking at Google
yeah,
Images right now. I don't see a goldfish anywhere. I see a golden dragon man.
well yeah, that's the main character, and like in the wolf costume, right?
The gold werewolf man. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the main guy.
Where's the
That's the
fish
main
come
hero.
from?
I'll pull that up for you later, man. I gotta find that
There's
out.
no
Actually,
fish.
there is a fish. It won't look like a fish though. It only looks like a fish at the beginning, and then it grows into like this thing that he has like in this huge like aquarium pool.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me
Apparently there was a Final Fantasy 14 collab with them. You can get the whole outfit.
Interesting. It's probably with the anime though. It might be with the tokusatsu
No,
though.
it is Tokusatsu, looks like.
It's the
Got
same suit. So the interesting thing about the anime, real quick, before I move on from Garo, the anime. So actually, Garo in itself consists of like multiple different time periods where different users take on the mantle of Garo. And so like the anime, I think the first one set like in medieval times, the second one set in like one of the Japanese eras, like the Meiji era or something. I'm not sure. I think Abe no Seimei is one of the characters. So for somebody who's a little more, knowledgeable on Japanese time periods, they could probably tell me when he existed. Then there's one set in a more modern day. Really, they're just set in different time zones. I actually bought like a Malaysian bootleg of the latest of the live action. It's
Oh
called Versus
no.
Road. It's called Versus Road, right? And it's actually like a what are those? My brain's not working, but what are those sort of genres called? I guess sort of like Squid Game, but it's not Squid Game because I hate that reference. What's
Death
like
game?
a Deaf Game? Deaf Game, yes, that is exactly what that is, and I'm super excited to watch that one after I watch season 2. Um, also, so I can plug this, so I can get this off my chest. Garo is super cheap. I bought like all of these for like $5 a pop, the ones that are localized. Now the first 14 episodes is out of print, and you can't find that anywhere. And the only reason I found it was it randomly popped up on the Seven Seas, and I popped off, and I was so excited when I finally found that. But you can't find that disc anywhere. But other than that, you can find all of the rest of them. And actually, the season 1, set 2, the first episode on that one has a recap for the first season. So you don't technically need the first season, but you definitely want to watch the first season if you can. And if you're looking for that fish, it's called Tank. Look up Garo season 1 episode 17, Tank, and you'll see what I'm referring to. But yeah, while you're looking that up, I'm gonna talk about something else. What else do I want to talk about before we? I feel like I'd be cheating if I talk about Sympho Gear because I know we wanted to do a focused chat on Sympho Gear. So maybe I'll just do a super high level highlight later on. But let's talk about Bento. Bento. I watched that a while back. I know you remember me talking about Bento. That is also a personal 9.5. It sits 9 point. I'm gonna pull one of yours. It's a 9.6. 9.6. Bento is the type of show that sits in the type of category that you would probably find Keijo, like just super over the top, nonsensical fun with a bit of titillation. The plot is just nonsensical. It's essentially this guy named Yu goes to this new high school, and he randomly wakes up. He doesn't have a memory of anything. He comes to find out that he got his ass beat essentially because he tried to grab a bento during one of the brawls. And the whole show just sort of centers around this group called I think they're called the Wolves, and how they participate in these bento brawls, which are essentially every man for themselves and the supermarket to get the discount bento. You fight hand-to-hand combat to get the discounted bento. Once you touch the bento, it's yours, and then you can take it. And the whole thing is about the pride of fighting for your bento and all of these other things. And I mean, really, that's what it boils down to. And I could talk for days about the specific episodes, but it's just super fun. It's very well animated. I'm trying to remember who did bento. I'm seeing MBS, but I think that's probably a broadcaster. I don't know who did bento, but I feel like I should know it.
The
Yeah,
studio?
it says MBS. Yeah, it
David
says
Production.
MBS. David Production. That's who it is. Yes, it is David Production. This show is very well animated. The only reason I wouldn't even make it a 10 for the personal daring list is because it's a light novel adaptation. So basically, it just gives you enough to want to read the light novels, and that's it. So it's a 12 episode anime. I really wish it had a second season. If Devil was a part timer, can get a second season. It's not that great. We can get a bento second season, please. But yeah, it was just a super fun show. I really had a great time. Like it sits up there with Keijo. Keijo is one of my top shows of all time. Just because like I feel like we need more like super fun shows. In anime, like it didn't have to be super serious plots, it didn't have to be stupid harems or all this other junk that I've just all this
Hey.
blasphemous junk. No, yeah, I
Hey.
said it. I said it. I said it. None of these horse girls and all this other nonsense. Now, actually, it's a 9.4 because there's a slight incestuous undertone in there. But outside of that, if
That's
you
the
can look
best
past that,
part.
that's he said it, y'all. He said the thing. I don't know how I feel anymore. This
No,
this is not SAO season 2. Okay, not SAO season 2. Stop the cousin love, please. Not good. But no, seriously, Bento's a fun show. It's very fun. It's short, unfortunately, but it's fun. It definitely made me want to go buy the light novels, which are not localized in English. So there's that. I would love to see more content for the show, but I think at this point it was a 2011 show. I guess you never say never, but I don't think it ever reached the heights as some of these other shows that got new seasons like almost 10 years later. I guess if Classroom of the Elite can get a second season and a
Third
third season,
season?
but it came out in 2017, so that's a little more recent. It's a little more in the public mind. I don't think Bento's coming back, unfortunately, but oh well. Very, very fun show. Heavy recommend if you're into that sort of thing. But yeah, I pass over to you, sir. Give me another off your list.
I was going to save this one for later, but since you mentioned Bento, the author for Bento also wrote the story for Licorice Recoil.
No shit. You serious?
Same guy. Here,
Same guy?
I'll link it. I mentioned this. I mentioned this to you like way back in September.
I don't remember, man. That's well, that makes sense why it's probably so good. I haven't watched it, so I can't say why it's so good. But like,
I mean, it's probably not. It's not the same type of comedy or wackiness as Bento, but it's good.
now Licorice Recoil, just to make sure I'm thinking of the right show, it is the almost what's that show called with Keanu, or movie with Keanu Reeves?
Oh, John Wick.
Yeah, the John Wick with the high school girls.
Basically,
Okay, yeah. That's crazy. Same author?
same author.
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it now then. Is it 12 episodes?
13.
13.
I'd give it an 8.2.
Wow, this man said he's being generous.
What did
the
I actually
decibel.
give it? There's no way I gave it a 7.7. That's not right.
Wow, this. You know, I feel like you could be a little. What's the word? A little hard to please sometimes. So maybe in that moment, you were feeling like it was a 7.7. But after sitting on it for a bit, you realize now it's worthy of 0.2 points.
Maybe I was disappointed that they didn't give it more episodes.
Well, it seems like this author
Maybe they rushed it or something.
doesn't get. Seems like he just doesn't get the long seasons, which is fine. I think, honestly, it's good sometimes to have the short seasons because that means, obviously staff doesn't have to try to, pad out content or cut content. Gives them a little more room to, make the show look and sound and feel a whole lot better. So I guess that makes sense. But now I gotta watch this. Now that you told me that this is the same author, I gotta watch this. Asasura. Asasura.
Asaura. I think.
Asarura. Probably. That is probably the correct saying. Doesn't look like he's done too many things. Or no, okay. I just had to scroll down. Yeah, no, actually he hasn't done too many things.
Yeah, not a lot. But yeah, definitely recommend 8.2. What did I give 8.1 earlier?
You gave
It was either Star Wars or Cyberpunk.
It was both Star Wars and Cyberpunk.
Oh, I think Star Wars gave an 8 for some.
You gave Star Wars an 8, but I think you gave the Trigger you gave the Trigger short probably an 8.1.
Yeah, okay. There were some others that deserve 8.1. Others were 7, 6. Cyberpunk 8.1. Yeah. Licorice Recoil 8.2. The entire production quality, the character, voice acting, action, pretty top tier, made by A1 Pictures.
That is what I've heard. That's what I've seen. People are just like, this is a really, really good show. So I sort of forgot about it, which is kind of sad because I feel like I don't see as much talk about it, even though it came out in July? Yeah, that's what this page says.
Really?
Yeah,
July.
started in July and ended in September.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wouldn't say it's done anything groundbreaking or anything. Maybe the characters. They're really good characters. But nothing that makes you go like, oh, this will be like an instant classic or something. That's why it's no higher than 8.2.
No, 8.2. I guess that makes sense. I mean, for me, like I told you when we talked about it a while ago, just the black character representation, that's always going to give bonus points for me. Cool looking older black mentor figure. Sign me up, but
what else is on my... I was going to save that for later since it's a shorter series that you probably haven't seen, or like seasonal stuff that isn't super noteworthy. What else is there? Have you caught up to Gundam G-Witch?
I haven't even watched it.
God
so
damn it.
But you could tell me.
No, I can't.
You can't tell me the plot, but like, listen, man, this is how Gundam is going, right? I think I said it in the chat the other day. I still have Gundam V. I still have Turn A. I still have Double Zeta. I still have F91. I still have all of these different Gundams that I need to watch before I start watching all the other stuff. G Witch is probably, which technically speaking, is I don't think I need to know, any timeline stuff for the Universal Century because I think even G Witch is like a spin-off Universal Century,
Yeah, new
blah blah blah.
timeline, separate timeline.
So, but I mean, I really want to watch those other ones, and I just haven't started yet. So like, I just need to get back into the groove. Like one of these days,
Man,
I'll finish Unicorn. I'll actually finish Unicorn.
one
All
of these
great
days
shows.
there'll be a next podcast.
It's happening right now. So dreams can happen. Dreams can happen.
We won't be alive to see it.
We will. You just had to believe. You had to believe. But keep G Witch for the next one. All right.
Fine, I'll mark it off.
I'll try to watch it, especially since it's going on. It's one of those ones I can watch as it's going. It's
Not
on
if you wait too
Crunchyroll.
long. We're at episode what 6 today, I think.
6. Yeah, I can.
Yes.
I can. I can catch up. I can catch up. I can find time. Well, real quick.
Other season. Wait, what was that?
I was just gonna say, real quick, since you said nothing too noteworthy, that made me think. Let me go ahead and put this one in there
Stuff you
because
probably haven't watched. I can't really discuss a lot.
Oh, I know, but when you said not really noteworthy, right? Like that made me want to talk about something specific that I've
Go for it.
watched. Which was Sakura Wars, the animation.
Again.
Now. Wait, did I talk about this one already?
Maybe not on a podcast, but we definitely talked about it.
Yeah, but I have to voice this. I have to voice this mediocrity.
Oh, yeah.
You know? It was a fun show. Now this is definitely like a 7 for me. It was fun. I don't understand, like, so the same studio that actually developed the cutscenes for the game for Shin Sakura Wars, they're the same ones who actually developed the anime. And it was fun to just see the direct continuation of the game in the anime. Like, I don't regret buying it. I don't regret owning it. It was a fun time. It's just there's just some awkwardness to this, and I'm just like, this should have cooked a little more. And I just hate that this product is with that game because I think Shin Sakura Wars, like, if you want to do a revival of a series, Shin Sakura Wars is how you do it. Like, that was a fantastic, like, new entry in the Sakura Wars franchise. I kind of hate how it sort of fizzled out after the anime and the mobile game, and I thought Sega was really pushing it, and now it seems to have just died back down. But I think this anime is a fine continuation. Like, it does pop off a little bit, like you can feel the progression, but only at 12 episodes. Like, I feel like the animation should have been much cleaner. First and foremost, like, I'm not the type of person that just hates CGI. I'm not hating on the models. I'm not hating on anything. It's just got a sort of bad quality to it. There are intersperses of 2D animation, and the art style looks really nice. I forget Bleach's author, but he's the one who did the character designs for Shin Sakura Wars and all of those new characters. And I really like the new character designs. They all look great. They're all personable. But just the translation in the 3D models and like how they move and some of the action sequences, like, it's just there's a stiffness to it that sort of takes you out of it, and I just wish it wasn't there. So hell, I'll give it a 6.7 just because I needed more. Like, I was happy to see these characters again after playing the game. I think it's fun. I think the storylines are fun. I really like what they did with I can't remember his name, but he's the mechanic. Like, I really like the jokes. The jokes landed for me. Not every joke, but like the humor was pretty good. But I think it could have been a better adaptation. I think the studio didn't flex their muscle in the right way. So
Studio Sands again.
Yeah, that's the one that did your favorite, Strike the Witch, right?
What? No,
Isn't that Strike the Witch?
no.
What's the one with the mobile girls?
I don't know. Strike Witches?
Is that what I'm
I
thinking?
haven't seen that, and that's a different studio as well.
There's one that's like
They have made
it's
some other prominent things, like they made the Initial D movies. Arpeggio Blue Steel was one of their early works. But you haven't watched that, have you?
I actually don't even remember obtaining it, and I looked at my computer one of these days. I have it on there. I have it on there to watch, and just I think when life got busy, it didn't happen. But I do plan to watch it. I just haven't started it yet. So
Hmm.
it's on there. But
Well,
there's a specific. Oh, go ahead.
was that?
I was just gonna say there's a specific show that Studio Sensigan has done that we've made jokes about. It's like a Ken Cole type show, and I can't remember.
Is it about the submarines?
No, I think they like fly around in the air.
Strike Witches.
Okay, so that is what I was talking about.
That's a different studio
I thought
though.
you.
Not these
I
guys.
guess so.
The one with the propeller
Never
legs,
mind.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a different
yeah.
studio.
Gotcha. I thought that was them. Okay. Never mind then. Never mind. Alrighty. You want to take it back,
Well,
or I?
were you done?
Yeah, I'm done with Soccer Wars. Unfortunately.
Well, if you didn't like Sakura Wars, that was 2020. Arpeggio Blue Steel original series was 2013. The movie were 2015. However, I'll say in their defense, those series are mostly all mechanical stuff. So the 3D lent itself very well in those scenarios. I can't say the same for Sakura Wars.
It's not horrible. It's just I wanted it to be better, I guess. Like the sequences in the game are beautiful. And I mean they've had 7 years to up their skill level, so I don't know what's going on.
I mean, they seem to be making some pretty bigger names like D4DJ. They're doing the animations for those.
Hmm.
Some Bang Dream stuff. I don't know what's going on with those though, but they
That it.
they don't have a lot of things. Anyways, I can keep going down the list if you don't have anything else to add.
For Arpeggio Blue Steel, if you find that in the wild, you should buy it because it's out of print. If you're interested, it's a discotheque joint.
Yeah, no, probably not. Very unlikely.
This man said, "Nope, not gonna buy." Okay. But yeah, I've derailed us. What was your next thing you wanted to talk about?
I'm gonna try to list off things you probably haven't watched so we can get through them quicker.
Yeah,
Chainsaw Man. Any
I've read
thoughts?
it.
Oh, you
I've
read it.
I've, I've
Okay.
I've read the entire thing.
Have you
I
seen
don't
any of
know
it?
how far. And just that one clip I sent you and some of the trailers and some of the people horny for power. That's about it.
Heck no.
That's.
Nope. Worst girl.
Have you read it?
Nope.
Okay, okay. Just keep watching then. Just keep watching.
We
I
got
would agree.
to
I would
the
agree with you.
what is it? The latest episode was I think new episode's actually tomorrow. What latest episode? They cut the end just before what's the dude's name?
Aki?
No, what's the main guy's name? Denji.
Oh, Denji.
He's just about to put some hands.
Two.
Power.
Oh,
And that's where they cut it.
really good.
Yeah, she just moved in and all that.
Gotcha.
Does it flush?
I will say, just keep watching. I don't know how much of the story they're gonna adapt. I don't know if they're gonna adapt the entire thing. It's not that long of a manga. At least the first part of it. But I won't spoil. But yes, she's probably not great girl for now. But you'll see. Chainsaw Man is a ride of a show or of a series. And the anime adaptation just looks pretty damn good. It looks really good. It looks well made. Obviously, besides some of those smaller parts, but I mean, 2 seconds of a show, I don't know if I'll
Mm,
just absolutely notice that. I mean, I'm sure there's some glaring errors. I'm sure it's got a lot of CGI, and I'm sure the CGI sort of doesn't mesh well sometimes with the traditional animation. Because I mean, that's what that clip was. Like, I don't think there was anything wrong with the actual
oh, the one you sent?
anime. Yeah, the one I sent.
I don't think that was CGI. I don't think.
Oh, you think that was just pure layering? I don't remember. I thought the model might have been a CGI model, but I could be mistaken.
Background probably could have been because it's pretty easy to disguise or hide.
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like they were using way too much CGI for this. It's understandable, but for a big production like this, I feel like they could have put a little bit more. I don't know. Like there's so much of it is just CG, rotoscoped, or filtered.
Is this a Netflix show or is it just a general like on Crunchyroll show?
I don't think it's on Netflix. Maybe it's Netflix. It is on Netflix.
Okay, it's a Netflix show then. That sort of makes sense with the CGI. I mean,
I don't think it's a Netflix show. It's made by Madhouse or Mappa. Madhouse or Mappa. Like it's not an exclusive Netflix show.
it's not exclusive. Okay,
It's on Crunchyroll.
gotcha,
Oh, it's not. It's not available on Netflix US.
gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure the CGI looks fine. I mean, I'm sure it's probably going for a specific style of look, and just they're able to do that in this with the CGI, the camera and whatnot. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't say one way or the other. But from what I've seen, and obviously that's just specific clips and stuff, it looks really really good. And of course that's marketing too, so of course it looks really good.
Uh, okay.
But
Well, we'll see as they release more.
if
Next,
anything, you'll enjoy the story. But yeah, let's keep it moving.
Mob Psycho 3. What? What was that? What was that sound?
Ooh, that's one of those. I barely remember season one, but from what I remember, it's really good. The
Man,
animation looks really good.
man, there's so much happening. Character development, story.
Mm,
Well, story was never a major part of it, but it's interesting. Animation. We're about to. The thing at this point, yeah, we're about to see a huge fight.
mm.
Big Studio Bones Sakuga Fest incoming. Can't wait.
It's just interesting to me how one's properties seem to get these really nice adaptations, minus One Punch Man season two, like these nice big budget adaptations of his work. But I'll have to catch up one of these days. I'm not caught up, so I can't really say anything about Mob Psycho. But from the
It's
clips I've seen, the animation looks really really good. So
we haven't even seen the good animation yet.
season one was pretty well animated, from what I
Oh,
remember.
clips of season one.
No, no, no. I mean, clip. Haven't they been showing clips of season three? Haven't I? Or is
I
that season
mean,
two? I keep seeing all over places.
nothing huge has happened in three yet. I wouldn't say.
Mm,
Two is definitely way, I would say, way better than one.
That's how it should be. That's how it should
Actual
be.
development.
Well, what would you rate Mob Psycho up to this point,
The first one,
or just from what you've
second.
watched
Dang.
as a series?
It's the whole series.
Yeah,
A minimum. What did I actually rate it on any list? Actually, I want to say minimum 8.5,
8 point. Wow,
but what did I actually give it? Season one was 8. Season two, I gave it 9.3.
damn,
I guess that does
damn.
kind of average out to like
Yeah,
8.6,
that
8.7,
gets there.
8.6.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 is just so good.
Like I said, one day. There's just too much stuff to watch, man.
Okay, dude. Next, Urusei Yatsura
So I gotta
reboot
hear about this one.
2022.
I gotta hear about this one. Just before you tell me anything about how you're feeling, just give me a number.
So far, I actually haven't caught up on it. I am one episode behind. I didn't watch last week because I didn't feel any need to or wanted to.
That's not a good sign.
So I've seen was probably that was episode. Yeah, I've seen 5 episodes. It looks good. Music's pretty good. Animation's good, but the humor you can tell is so dated. Like they ripped it straight out of the 80s and 90s. I don't know
But
why they felt like they needed to do that, but
I mean, if you're gonna make a Urusei Yatsura adaptation in 2022, I mean, I feel like you have to do that. To be honest, I mean, if you start updating things with modern sensibilities, I don't know. That sort of betrays the. I mean, that betrays the adaptation, in my opinion, right? Like, I don't know. It's one thing like if you make a new, let's say you have Lupin the fifth or Lupin the third, the fifth season or whatever, right? That season sort of centered around Lupin with social media, basically the Lupin killing game, where you were supposed to find Lupin, and obviously they use all of the social medias and stuff. And then that's a far cry from like Lupin. I don't know. Let's just say part one. There's actually a special that focuses on like modern day sensibilities. Is that Bye Bye Lady Liberty? Or is that Fum? I forget which one. Anyways, the original season one Lupin, just like the 1970s, obviously, that's one thing. But like if they said they're doing a straight up adaptation of Urusei Yatsura, I would expect nothing less than like old, you know, old
well,
jokes,
I don't
and
think
old
it's a
humor.
straight adaptation though. I don't think they ever specified it's adaptation or a reboot or something. But it does still take place in like the 80s. But out of all the things they had to pull back from the 80s, it had to be all those lame tropes.
I mean that's what Rumiko Takahashi's works are, man. That's really her bread and butter. I mean, just reading her stuff in the current age, that's just her works. That's why people like her stuff.
I mean,
Mm.
I'm like, I don't have anything against it, but like, that's all they do. Like, put some variety, please. I mean, they do, production wise, they do get some pretty big names in there. They were made by David Production. They got the original voice actors from the original series to voice the parent, the Ataru's father, and Bloom's mother. They got
It's
the OG
awesome.
voice actors. Got some other big names. like Shutaro Mendo as a side character, voiced by Mamoru Miyano, more famously known as Okabe Rintaro, Yelwin Kyoma from Steins Gate.
Mm.
You got Oyuki. I don't think we've seen in the show yet, but she's voiced by Saori Hayami. But I don't know if I want to keep watching. Music kind of slaps, but it's not much has changed in 5 episodes.
Well, I hate to inform you. Well, maybe you'll love to hear this, but not much was ever gonna change, man. That's sort of her thing. I mean, it's the old school rom-com sort of situation.
And her manga went on for what, 10 years?
Yeah, but I mean, people like it, man. I mean, it's the same thing as like, what's that manga that I read now that just annoys the hell out of me? Oh, Kubo. Kubo, like it's that same type of thing. Like you read it, you enjoy it, and I'll admit, like, now I've never read Urusei Yatsura, but I do read and own My Sonny Koku, and I mean, it can just go on and on and on and on with the same sort of like, will he, won't he, love triangle nonsense. But there's just something like once you get sort of caught in that, like you can't let go until you figure out what happens. Sort of the same thing with Rama, one half. All of her, I've watched that. Now that show is fun. It has fun scenarios, but it's it's the same thing. A lot of her shows are just or series are very, I wouldn't even say monster of the week, but like just repetitive, sameness.
See, man, Kubo, that kind of stuff, that's like you read it because you want to see them win.
Yeah.
The potential to win. Urusei Yatsura, you know everyone's going to lose because they're supposed to lose because they're all jackasses and they all deserve
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's the
My
whole
issue,
thing.
yeah, my thing with Takahashi works, not all of them, but some of them, is just that, especially the more comedy based ones, they don't have endings per se. Like you invest all of this time into these stories just for them to not end or not to give you like a defined ending. And those are the ones that need it most, right? The ones where it's the same repetitive stuff, but you're waiting for progress, and then you get to the end, and then it just sort of is like, well, their journey will continue in your imagination, sort of BS. And that's why I've never bought Urusei Yatsura, because I just know Rama one half is like that. Spoilers. My Sonny Koku is not like that. Inuyasha is not like that. I don't know about some of her other stuff. What else? Yeah, some of her stuff has actual endings. Other stuff like Urusei Yatsura is not really. You're just there for the weekly giggles at the expense of Ataru and Lum. Is the
At the expense of my brain cells.
is
They're
the
all smooth
is the
brain
girlfriend
morons.
is the girlfriend still in this one? Because for the
Probably, yes.
first anime adaptation, okay, for the first anime adaptation, they gave her a much longer, persistent role versus her role in the manga.
Shinobu, she's been there since the beginning.
Gotcha. Which is only the first 5 episodes, so she's probably still gonna be there, and I don't know how long they're gonna.
23
how many
episodes of
episodes?
this, man.
Well,
It's not even
I'll
the
be
fun
honest
type
with
of turn your brain off. It's just the losing brain cells in a not enjoyable way.
I mean, that's Urusei Yatsura, man. But I mean, I hate to hear that, but I mean, you probably should stop. You should probably tap out now.
I already tapped out.
You sounded like you had hope, but I guess after this conversation, you're probably like, nah, I'm done. So I can understand that. I can definitely understand that.
Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I would say 10 and a half items left if you want to change
Okay.
sides real quick.
Gotcha. Well, let's rapid fire through these then, because you still got a few.
Oh, you want me to go or you go?
No, I'll go. Planet With. This was a random pick up and try sort of deal.
Sounds illegal.
It was not illegal. It was legally obtained and purchased. I don't even know how to really explain this show. I'll read the synopsis. Soya Kuroi has. I said that horribly. I'm just gonna call him Soya Black because I can do that. Soya Black has dreams of people with superpowers fighting a massive dragon in the sky, but his real life is almost as weird. He's had amnesia for about 2 weeks and been taken in by a maid and an anthropomorphic cat. When a UFO in the shape of a stuffed bear approaches Suramasaka City and other metros around the world, he's startled to see 7 rainbow sparkling heroes zoom out to confront it, just like in his dream. Even weirder, the maid wants him to leave his shelter to confront these heroes and take the source of their power. That is actually a very, very good synopsis. And you're probably like, what the hell is any of that? It's a mecha show. It's an action show. It's a mystery show. It's damn good. I give it a 9.3, 9.4. It is really good. It is made by the same author as Biscuit Hammer, which I heard got a very horrible adaptation.
Oh boy.
But we won't unless you plan to talk about that one. But
No.
yeah, this is a very, very good show. Some folks might be turned off by the CGI. Again, it's the mech battles are CGI, but they're really good in my opinion. They don't take away. The premise is weird, but it's also it makes sense. It comes together to make a lot of sense, and it's got this very shonen energy about it. But it's a fun show. Definitely a 9.3 in my opinion. Definitely 9.3. I watched Classroom of the Elite again. I bought it and watched it so that I could watch season 2 and 3. I remember talking to you, and I almost let you dissuade me from wanting to watch it again. So I was like, well, maybe my memories of this were, I don't know, confused. But I enjoyed myself. It's an 8. It's definitely an 8. It's not like a
Classroom of the
top-tier
Elite?
series. Yes.
Okay.
7.5 to 8. That's where I'd put it. I enjoyed the dialogue. I know a complaint for this series is that it feels like it's not moving. I can understand that, but I sort of like the interaction. Like it's really just interaction in the show, in my opinion. Ayano Koji is that character. I don't care what anybody says. I love Ayano Koji. I just love his attitude and the way he approaches all of these different
He's just
scenarios
like
and
me.
situations.
For real, for real. I mean,
Seriously though.
I did watch all of season 2, binged it until like there's still like 2 episodes left. It was much better, so I'm looking forward
Okay.
to season 3.
Cool. Okay. So we can be friends again because you redeemed your comments of how trash you thought it was. And I'm glad to hear that the second season fared better with you than the first season, which I'm excited to see the second season eventually at some point. And even excited that it already got greenlit for a third season. That's pretty damn cool that even before the second season came out, they had already greenlit the third season. That's some very strong hope, I guess, or strong confidence in the product. So hopefully it's worth it.
First season gets a
Briefly.
7. Second one gets a 7.8.
7.8 for you. That from you, I won't take that. That's decent. I think that's decent. So I'll probably have a pretty good score, especially since I'll be going in fresh. I had already seen this one a few years back, but it was a fun time. It was a fun time. The beach episode, the beach episode could have just been gone. I would have preferred more plot rather than some of the nonsense.
Plot.
But very, very, very quickly, just to talk about it. Sinful Gear. I watched the first 2 seasons. 9.5. Let's just move on. That's all I got to say. We will talk about it when you watch it.
I'll mark Classroom of the Elite off the list too.
Yeah. So Sinful Gear, again, it's up there with Bento and Keijo. Actually, I'll give it a 9.3. No,
What?
because the moments that hit. So it's a 9.5. Like Sinful Gear is that show, man. Sinful Gear is that show, and I haven't even gotten to the season where she has the freaking Baji Kwan transformation sequence. Like I feel like this show just keeps getting hyper and hyper, so I'm looking forward to the 3rd season. I also have the 4th season, so I'm waiting for Discotech to release the 5th season so I can complete the collection and then I can just watch it. But I'm also waiting on you so we can actually talk about it when you have a chance to watch it. So yeah,
Waiting
that's what
on moi?
yeah, I'm waiting on you. We'll talk about it when you're there.
On moi?
I'm waiting on moi. All right, my last rapid fire one before I turn it back over to you. There's a few I want to talk about. 'Cause I kind of want to talk about Genshiken with a little more depth, but let's just talk about Beyblade. I
Okay.
watched. So, have you watched any Beyblade before?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll watch the OG and a bit of Metal Fusion.
Okay, you watch Metal. The Metal Saga is my shit, man. And I say that with full like no like jokingness. Like it is so good. And that 4 Kids Saturday morning cartoon sort of way. Like I bought Metal Fusion and Metal Masters for $8. Best $8 I've ever spent. The first few episodes of Metal Fusion, it takes a second for Metal Fusion to start going, but once it ramps, it ramps. And I'm waiting to watch Metal Masters again because I mean, like going into Metal Masters, Metal Fury, like the shows just keep up that sort of pace. So like it's good. It's really good. I give it a 9, honestly. A kid's show 9. Like I like the Bay battles. I like the little mini arcs. I like that Kiyoya got his shine. Like you get to see Kiyoya go on this journey of redemption. He's not just a secondary rival. He's fucking Kiyoya, man. And Ryuga, like, oh my gosh, like the English voice actor for Ryuga. Do you even know who I'm referring to vaguely when I say these names? Like, do they trigger like a memory?
What's the name you just mentioned before? What's the name?
Ryuga
No,
or
before that.
Kiyoya.
He's the really edgy green dude, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You should know. How Leon?
Oh
That
my
guy.
god.
Right? Like this show is iconic in my opinion. I love the Metal Saga of Beyblade. Ryuga is such a villain, man. Like he's such a villain, and he just has the best like lines. His voice is very interesting, but you just love it. And then you have like the Dark Nebula. I cannot remember his name, but he's the sort of butler dude. Gosh, why can I not remember his name? What is his name? Doji. Yes, Doji is his name. Like the man is a sicko. Like he was literally in there like purposely poking his finger on a cactus and licking his finger like to get satisfaction in a kid's show with the little kid like watching it. 9.2. 9.2 show.
Does the cactus grow face too?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. It does not. But yes, I watched 52 episodes of this, man. 52. I don't know where I found the time to watch 52 episodes of Beyblade, but I did.
Wow.
It is
Okay.
it is that show, man. That's what I'm saying. It's just good. Like it's just good. It's fun. So yeah. Really quick, I'm just gonna slide this one in there unless we want to talk about it, and then I'm gonna let you go. Black Lagoon. I watched the first half of it because for whatever reason Cody didn't register the other half, and Roberta's Blood Trail. Black Lagoon was definitely a nostalgia watch for me. Remembering watching it on Toonami years ago. I can't believe it came out in 2006. That's crazy. It is definitely a 9 show. I think probably even more than that. Very, very violent, but I love the story. I like the dynamic between Remy and Rock, and then I like the rest of the Black Lagoon or the Lagoon Company crew. Just a solid sort of action series, to be honest. So yeah, definitely a recommend to anybody that might be interested in that sort of thing. Remy's just a badass. She's a great female character. Very complex, lots of layers. Same with a lot of the other characters, and I like sort of the mental mind games that some of the scenarios have you play. Probably my least favorite part comes with the incest blood vampire twins, but but yeah. Anyways, I'm done for now. Take it
Yeah.
from me, sir.
Mid thousands Madhouse was a vibe.
That was Madhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that. That show was really really good. I really like how on model the characters are with the actual manga. Like they look the same and it looks good looking the same. Like I've seen too many adaptations where they take the style from the manga, but then it doesn't translate well to animation. But Black Lagoon just looks fantastic, and it's very faithful, very faithful. So yeah, definitely a 9 show.
Okay.
But yeah,
Got some stuff to burn through. Some not technically anime related, but in the realm. We'll try to burn through these in somewhat recent order. Watched Perfect Blue and Paprika to discuss with my coworkers. Actually, we actually formed an anime club
oh, interesting.
that we discussed during lunch. Sometimes it's just
So,
lunch.
so is this your first time watching either of those?
Yes.
Um,
I can understand why they're considered pretty iconic. They were very strange, I would say. I think, but those
Most
were the
this is
first Satoshi Kon stuff I've seen. Yeah.
yeah. I've actually only seen Perfect Blue now that I think about it. I haven't seen Paprika yet. I've bought it. I just haven't gotten around to watching it. Perfect Blue is definitely one of those, like, you know, if you watch it one time, you may not get all the aspects of it, but especially after watching it again and listening to, you know, other people sort of break it down and stuff, it's really deep. It's a really good piece of media.
Yeah, that's how I
I
would
would,
describe it. Yeah, a good piece of media.
yeah, it's
Enjoyable, maybe.
yeah, all right. It's
Like
it's a good watch.
yeah. That's why I give it an 8.05.
It's an 8.0. It gets the half of the rewatch.
You know
I
what?
think
I'll
it
give
is
it an
one.
8. It's a 50-50 rewatch.
Yeah, I think it's one that needs a rewatch to really truly appreciate it. Because when you watch it the first time, it's not gonna sink in as much.
It's
It's a much deeper media. I think you go in with an expectation for it when you watch it the first time, and then you don't get that expectation, but then you realize what you're really watching when you watch it again, and especially when you talk to other people about it. And I think that's truly, you know, it shows sort of the quality of it. It's not a one trick pony sort of movie. It's really one that makes you think about, you know, what's going on and all the different aspects of it. The
mm,
theme song for the idol group is catchy too. I can hear it in my head.
I'm kind of divisive on that to not the theme song, but something that requires a rewatch is tough. Like I appreciate media that you get more out of it the more times you watch it, but I also don't like the fact that you basically have to rewatch it.
That's fair. That is a fair and valid point. I don't disagree with that point either. Especially when time is a very sacred resource. Thankfully Perfect Blue isn't that long, but yeah,
Yeah,
you know, I could watch Perfect Blue again, or I could, you know,
watch Paprika.
watch yeah. Um
I would say Paprika's better in that regard. You don't really need to watch it again because it eventually all becomes pretty nonsense.
mm,
So there's not much to elaborate on what
yeah.
happens.
Yeah, Paprika seems like more of a fun watch than Perfect Blue is.
Mm. Well, next, Danmachi, season 4. I think I actually binged through 3 and 4 to get caught up because I wasn't feeling it after 2. Have you
So
caught up or somewhere in there?
So funny you mentioned Danmachi. I just actually recently picked up season 1 um
Wow.
on Blu-ray because it was like, I don't know, $10 on sale.
Have you seen it before?
I have seen season 1 before, but it's
Okay.
been so long I need to rewatch it. From what I remember, because Danmachi does not mean the English translated title, right?
I mean, it's a
That is
shortened version,
mm,
like an extremely condensed version of the name.
gotcha. Well, from what I remember, it was actually a really good animated really good animated show, and it had a fun plot with it. I don't remember much, so I'll need to watch it again, to be honest. I just know I've seen Hestia as Bestia a lot, in my lifetime, and Hestia is the little short goddess,
Yep.
right? Okay. I do not remember the main character's name. I do know there's the Kirito equivalent female main character that's also got her own spin-off as well. I
Yep.
don't remember her name.
I
So I'll
will
need to
s-
watch it again.
I will say first season's good. I don't think you'll be disappointed remembering it. Second season, this is not the dungeon I was looking for. Third, it's all right. I wouldn't watch it again, or neither with the second one. Fourth,
Have you watched any of the spin-off? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I have not watched spin-offs, but I heard they weren't worth
Gotcha.
it.
Mm,
Probably will though, because I like that's how I am eventually. Fourth
eventually.
was some major happenings, and they left us at a major cliffhanger.
Mm.
But
So is the
that's a
fourth
long way from
finished?
now. Fourth ended pretty recently.
Okay.
It was this year, maybe
Gotcha.
last month.
Gotcha.
But I'll check that off the list. Overlord season 4 as well. Nothing crazy. Next,
Overlord.
you know I dated my ex is my stepmom's daughter. Yeah,
Why'd you come through and tell me that's like an 8.1?
pretty good. It was better than I expected.
Goodness.
What did I give it? Step
Probably gave it a 7.5 on your Annie list.
6.9.
Damn. Well, my man's on here like, pretty good. That's a pretty good 69. It's pretty good 6.9.
The average score is 68%. Man,
I
well,
feel like there's some meta humor going on,
I
but
mean, it looks good. The story was more interesting than it appeared. Studios, they're not well known. Studio named Project Nine, Project Number Nine is what they're called. They really don't have a lot. I don't even recognize a lot of these, but they are making, what is it? They are making a series next this upcoming winter. I'm kind of looking forward to. So
mm,
kind of hopeful they'll pretty good quality. Otherwise, I think I already told you a lot. When it was airing.
you still feel it's a 6.9.
Yeah, 6.9. Apparently, in the recommendations on any list, there is domestic girlfriend. you, all you need is a little sister.
Did that get a new season?
No, but it's under the
Oh,
recommended.
oh.
Kiss X Sis is also there. And some others I don't really recognize. Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely not for everybody. But if you like trash, that somewhat became interesting. Kind of like All You Need Is a Little Sister, 6.9.
Ah, nice. Nice, nice, nice.
Nice. Here, I've got two more anime and one manga and two IRL stuff. I guess 1.5 IRL things.
Gotcha.
If you have any more you want to
Oh,
switch out.
okay. Gotcha. So a lot of mines, since we're doing it rapid fire, the ones I don't really just want to talk about as long. First 3 seasons of Haikyuu. I've finished that. Really good. 9, maybe 9.2. Just super good shonen boys volleyball anime. Just really hype. I heard the 4th season is not that great, so I hate that, but I'll eventually get there. Let's see, is there one on here that I have finished? One I want to talk about just very, very briefly, which is Pokemon actually. Pokemon Journeys. You may or may not be aware, but that anime is about to end and probably go into the Scarlet and Violet era of anime. But they've had the gosh, I can't even remember the name. It's not the Coronation Tournament, or maybe it is the Coronation Tournament. And Ash is in the finals with Leon, the champion, and I've just been like a little kid, just waiting every 2 weeks or so just to see how that battle unfolds. I will not spoil what's going on, just in case somebody randomly finds this and is like, "Oh wow, you talked about it." But I've been enjoying that. So there's that. What else is on here that I don't want to talk about too much? Keep on with the kids shows because Beyblade, Pokemon, Metabots. I need to remember who animated Metabots because this show
This
I
boomer
hated
old
didn't catch
man.
a Metabots looks really good for like a sort of Pokemon S type series games based show or whatever. Like it looks really really good. It says TV Tokyo NAS Kodansha
Meta-Rot, you
Imagineer.
say?
Yeah, it's Meta-Rot, but Metabots is the
Studio
translation.
B-Train.
B-Train. It may
Looks
just be the people who worked on it, but it looks really good. Like the animation and stuff for this show is top notch. Like the battles look really good for this type of show. Whereas Pokemon feel look a little static, especially from this same era. This show looks really good, so I've been enjoying that. Haven't finished it, haven't watched too many episodes, but it's pretty good. I won't give it a date or a number just yet. I've started rewatching Space Dandy. This show may already be a 10 for me. I'm only 8 episodes in, but like it's just fantastic. Um just random scenarios of Space Dandy out in space doing his thing, just with all of these different characters and story. And it's a range of different types of story. You have heartwarming stories, you have, monsters stories, you have races clearly inspired by Redline. I think the most recent episode I just watched is definitely like Redline. There's all sorts of like just scenarios with this show, but it's not afraid to go anywhere. The animation is great, the characters are great, the dub is great. All of it is just fantastic. I think it's a truly 10 show. By the legendary. Let me not get it wrong, because it's not Shinichiro Watanabe, or is it Shinichiro Watanabe? Who was the director for Cowboy Bebop and Wolf's Rain? Is that Shinichiro Watanabe? I can't use my laptop at the moment. Let me see.
Yeah, I can hear its fans ramping up.
You can hear my fan repping.
Yeah, the director is Shinichiro Watanabe.
It is Shinichiro Watanabe. Okay, yes. Awesome show. I'm watching Ninja Robot slowly.
Bruh.
That is Toby Kage. That is the one. specifically the dub. So we have a it's a similar situation to that show Ghost Stories, where it's just got a very funny dub, but this is funny in a different type of way. Ninja Robots is a very, very good show dub. So I'll give more on that at some point. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to gloss over before I move on to stuff that I want to just go into? I think Slayers. I haven't talked about Slayers on here before. And Slayers really deserves a deep dive, but just to gloss over it, I finished the third season, which is Slayers Try, which is actually not based on the light novels. It's sort of a original anime season, and it was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed it. Now Slayers is not the most technical anime ever. uh Even for late 90s, Slayers is very static. Like, it relies on its humor and its dialogue rather than actually animating anything, but they're fun shows to watch. And honestly, from Slayers to Try, I would give it like, I give nines to everything. I'm not hard to please. Objectively, it's probably like 8 to 8.5, but it's definitely a 9 series for me. Definitely embodies that old school, like, Dungeons and Dragons, mythical magic genre that used to be extremely popular back in the day with like series like Record of Lotus War and stuff like that. A bygone era, but still really, really fun series. I need to watch the movie. I need to watch the OVAs. I need to watch the new anime series. I say new; those came out in like early 2000. But yeah, I think before I deep dive the other series that I want to talk about. Oh, I forget about this one. Dual Parallel. It's got a long ass name. Hold on, let me look at the full name. It is Dual Parallel Trouble Adventure. So it's gosh, Evangelion, like, um sort of like Gasaraki, and I'm sure I said that one right, but basically it's like Evangelion, but like softer, more comedic, and it's based in the Tenchi Muyo universe, which I didn't know until I looked up more information on this show. And then it was like, oh yeah, this is a part of the Tenchi series. And I was like, that explains the harem. It's got a really cool premise. It's about this kid who can see like this robot, and he can see like this other world, and he can see like the robot fighting in the other world, but nobody else can see it. And so like he's sort of looked at like a freak, besides by the one pretty girl, because he's a Tenchi clone, so obviously pretty women are attracted to him. And then eventually, through plot shenanigans, he ends up in the other world, hence the name Dual Parallel Trouble Adventure. And it's basically just a parallel world where it's kind of in a post-apocalyptic state with these monsters that are ruling, and they only women can pilot these robots, sort of similar to Evangelion. I know it's not only women, maybe only women in Evangelion. I don't know. I haven't gotten to that yet. But and of course the Tenchi clone, he can pilot one of the robots, and just the adventures in there. Um, it's a pretty fun series. It's one that I've never seen talked about before, but I saw it randomly and I was like, I need this, and I bought it. And yeah, I give it an 8.5. I give it an 8, actually. I give it an 8. But yeah, that is probably the last few things that I want to talk about before I go a little more in depth. And my in depth is probably going to be a little curated, but a little more in depth than these rapid fire ones that I was talking about.
Huh. How many do you have left?
I don't know. I think primarily I'm just gonna talk about a manga or two, and then Genshiken, because I really want to talk about those two. So
Hmm. I could probably burn through the rest real quick since there's not much to comment on.
go for it.
Kantai Collection season 2 came after a long 7 years since the first season, 6 years since the movie. Don't know if it's gonna pan out good or bad, since this one takes a very different tone from the first movie or season. I mean, first season was very slice of life, fluffy stuff, very enjoyable. While this one immediately goes for a super dark turn. In the first, I want to say 5 minutes, immediately shown the main character as like, oh, you're the last remaining ship of your squad of like 20 other people. I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. Everything's gray, everything's sad already in just 5 minutes. But I don't know. It's good to see the series getting more recognition again. We're seeing the old fans come back out of their rocks. Next is, I guess we talk about this, but the anime and manga. I'm not quite sure what the English name is. More Than a Married Couple, but Not Lovers.
I've seen that one randomly.
The one with high school students have to live a married life for class to graduate.
Mm,
And visually looks pretty good, like good art style and animation. Lots of fan service.
of course.
But today I decided to start the manga because I was getting kind of fed up with the progression so far. Like, we think we've gone through 6 episodes now today, and it felt like we're going like one entire arc per episode and getting nowhere. I was like, fine, I'll pick up, start reading the manga. Then I was like, it's torture. Like, it's really hard to explain. Like, there's development, different like new situations, but it keeps getting reset back to zero every time. I can't take it anymore. I'm at chapter 29 and is 52 out.
Just like, nope.
It's not even like the ganbare rom-coms like Kubo or something like that, where it's just like one designated couple.
Mm.
There's the Gyaru, there's the childhood friend, there's the MC loser, and then there's the love interest of the Gyaru and the rumored love interest of the childhood friend. That all of that got tangled up, and it's just a mess even after it gets cleared up eventually.
But I mean, it comes with the territory of the. I mean, the name sort of lets you know.
And
You know.
at this point, I want childhood friend to win, and that makes me want to drop reading it because you know it's not going to happen.
I mean, that's why I don't read these types of stories anymore, man. I always want the childhood friend to win.
I haven't read
Always.
these type of stories in a while because what's it called, Reiwa era? We're in the Reiwa era, man. We're in these Giga Chad rom-com slice of lives where there's one designated couple and you want them to win because it's wholesome.
Yeah.
This is not one of those, man. I say I'm gonna drop it, but I'm probably gonna finish reading it tonight.
You're probably gonna finish it. I was like, don't BS me here. You're gonna finish it. It's the same thing with Hirose Yatsura and the Takahashi stuff. You're sucked in. Continue. Continue watching it. Continue reading it.
They just reset every episode because that's what they do. Because they're dumb. They're designed to be dumb.
Are these people not dumb, just in a different way?
They're like inching every so closer to progress, but it's not the progress I want. They don't. It's I just gotta keep reading. I'm only halfway through, but I know it's gonna hurt.
As long as one of them doesn't randomly die, like
Probably
the other
won't die,
ones.
but I'll die inside.
Yeah.
But I've already done that, so I'll check that off the list. Couple other manga: Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence, or The White Saint and the Black Pastor in translated Japanese. Very wholesome. Highly recommend. Slice of life rom-com. Fluffy. Getting adaptation in the spring. It's like these studios are going through my manga library and adapting everything I have. Bless. They're also adapting The Angel Next Door Takes Care of Me or something like that.
I have no idea what that is.
I forgot. I typed in angle. Yeah, getting adaptation in the winter. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. I'm sure you can imagine what kind of series that is.
It again, at the very least, I respect them for putting it in the name of the titles. You sort of just know what you're getting into. Like what's that thing I keep seeing on Right Stuff site? Well, I don't see it on Right Stuff site, but I see it every once in a while. I believe it's called like I'm in another world, so I might as well cheat.
Yep.
Like he's definitely not cheating on a math test. I tell you that much.
Yep. But this is wholesome and fluffy and rom-com. Designated couple. Reiwa era. Reiwa energy. Yeah, that's it for manga. Two smaller things. The Sword Art Online launch was today in the anime timeline.
I thought I saw something about that, but I wasn't sure what was going on. So we've reached the anime day in real life.
Yep.
That everybody gets locked in the game.
Yep.
Some would say we are locked in a virtual reality that we can't escape from.
Can I get a respawn, please?
Nope.
I got a bad spawn.
Yeah.
I think the last one on the list is pretty kind of IRL related. The Bayonetta controversy.
Oh, you want to talk about that? You want to talk?
It's a,
'Cause
I
so
got I got the three G's for it: gatekeep, gaslight, girl boss. That's
oh god.
essentially all that happened.
Yeah, that was an interesting just event that just went on. It really just shows how quickly people like pick a side just based off of what they want to believe.
Yeah,
And then like I don't know, that whole thing was a mess. Even when it first happened, I was like, "Damn, that sucks." I'm still gonna buy that game though, but that sucks. And then I saw the subsequent things, and I was like, "You kind of fucked that up for other people because there's
yep,
genuine people who deserve to, you know, get paid more for what they do, and now you do that type of stunt, and you had, you know, voice actors that supported you. You had people support you. You had, you put Platinum Games in this awkward spot, and then people on social media don't want to accept responsibility for being wrong, so people are still gonna harbor these feelings and all of this different stuff. Like people cannot accept that the way they feel is wrong or what they do or say is wrong. So it's really sort of sad. But all that to say, how do you pass up like almost $1,500 to basically do a cameo role? That's awesome money just to do a cameo role. Um, Whatever. I haven't heard too much of Bayonetta 3. I'll be honest. I know I keep talking about spending money, but I did go today and spend some birthday cash from my wallet and get Bayonetta 3 because they actually had a copy at our local GameStop. So I'm excited to play that eventually. But I think the new voice actress does a great job. If we can talk about Bayonetta 3 for 1 second, I don't like the designs for 3. Like I like the designs for 1, I like the designs for 2, but there's just something about the character designs, the way they designed the characters for 3. I'm just not feeling like any of them. Like I love Platinum Games, I love the gameplay and stuff. I'm gonna play it and enjoy the game, but there's just something about the way that just the characters are designed. It almost just feel like over designed. Like there's just I don't know. Do you feel a similar way? Are you indifferent? I just sort of look at all the characters and like, I don't
and
really like these.
I mean I don't have much experience with the Bayonetta series.
Like I understand Bayonetta's design, especially her hair. That's a reference to stuff related to the plot of those games. I won't get too deep into that, but like just overall the characters just look unappetizing, I guess. Like I really love Bayonetta's like all the characters designed from the first game. I like the redesigns for the second game, but I do not like the redesigns for the third game. They just don't look, I don't know, like characters that appeal to me, and that's fine. Characters don't have to appeal to me. I think people are really positively receiving the character designs. I know they're receiving the games, so that's all that matters. But yeah, shame on you, Bayonetta voice actor. I don't know why you
Voice
would do
actor.
that. Yeah, I forgot her name. Uh,
Jennifer something Hale.
Jennifer Hale. Yeah, Jennifer Hale. Shame for
Oh,
doing that.
she's a new one, I think.
Is it? Well, for some reason, Veronica Taylor was popping up in my head. I don't know. I don't know who the
Helena
voice act.
Taylor.
Elena Taylor. Is that her name? Okay,
Helena Taylor is the old.
she's the old one. Okay. Well, shame on her. Mostly just because like stuff like that, takes the cause back for people who genuinely deserve more money. And I'm not saying she doesn't deserve more money, but she doesn't after that nonsense that she just did. Like,
And then
I don't
she
know. That
threw
was
shade at the new voice actor, saying that
yeah. That's
she
the
will
thing.
never
Like,
be the Bayonetta. I'm like, girl, neither will you anymore.
yeah, and the other voice actor, Jennifer Hale, she has a lot of credits to her name. She's not apparently Alana, whatever her name is. She like Bayonetta is her only thing. So I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird. There's some weird energy. Just that whole situation was weird energy. Maybe that was maybe she was an inside woman for Platinum. Maybe Platinum had some reservations and they were like, "We need you to boost these sales with controversy." It worked. It worked if that's the case. I'll be interested to see the sales numbers for Bayonetta 3. I think if anything, Bayonetta just has such good vibes from the community, plus the good vibes from Platinum, plus the good vibes from Astral Chain and Near Automata. Automata. So yeah, was there anything else you wanted to hit on?
No. Nothing really kind of related. Just Genshin
Gotcha.
Impact, but I don't think you're interested in that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know too much about Genshin, so we can. But you know what? I'm always willing to listen if you want to talk about something. So
I mean,
if you want to, now
there's
you
nothing.
can.
Just the new update came out like last week,
Mm.
3.2.
Something substantial or just
Pretty big update, as in story wise. They added the final part, third part of the major story for the new region. Pretty emotional.
not question because I don't know anything about Genshin. Is this like the Breath of the Wild clone one, or is this like the Gotcha game one? Which one is
Both
this?
the open world RPG waifu collecting game, except
Gotcha.
it actually does have good story and content and music, especially the music. Music's top tier.
That's how they get you, man.
I'd say it's probably the top sound orchestrations and soundtracks of all time.
That's damn. That's some high praise right there. That's. I mean, I said the top of all time.
Yep,
I guess I'll have to take a listen. I
very
don't know. Send me
confident in
your
that statement.
damn. Send me. I don't know. Send me 2 favorite songs from
But
it
the thing
when you
is,
get a second.
there's so much of it. There's 4 discs for each region, and then there's extra discs for this many side updates. So
Damn.
there's hundreds and hundreds of
So,
songs.
are you talking about like a mixture, or are we talking about like orchestral, vocal, like what type of music?
All orchestral type music,
Gotcha.
no vocals.
It struck me as like maybe one that might have vocals just because it might appeal to an idol type audience as well. I didn't know. So
Dare I say it's, man, I don't, it's a kind of a hot take. If it's better, equal, or better than Koji Kondo.
that's probably a hot take to somebody who just really loves some Koji Kondo and Nintendo. I'm not gonna say otherwise. I think you're wrong objectively because of music from Akira's Arika. Excuse me, not Akira. Arika's games like Street Fighter EX and Fighting EX Layer. But when I say stuff like that, then that's really the hot take. So I don't think you have the hot take. I'm the one with the hot take. I need to figure out who the composer is for Arika stuff because whoever does the music for that, they slap. Like I hate that I don't have their 4 disc CD for all of their different series because that's some good music. It's expensive though. That thing's like $90, I think. At least the MSRP. I can't find one that's not like in Japan. So, anyways, well, that's cool to hear though. I know Genshin is a big deal. Very big deal. So it's good to see that it's like I guess still doing its thing and hasn't fallen to the wayside.
Mhm.
I still see Genshin, unlike some of the other big things that sort of come and gone in a
I
few
mean,
years.
people like to meme on it because Breath of the Waifu and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it actually does have like really good production quality and behind it.
The one thing I've heard about the RPG one is like that paywall does sort of hit though, like
RPG,
the action RPG or the open world one.
they're the same thing.
Oh, oh,
It is a open world RPG, but the
with
characters you
gotcha
get
elements.
are gacha.
Ha ha but tusk gotcha ha gotcha. Anyway, uh, it's late. Okay, well, either way, I've heard that like progression is sort of locked at a certain point until you start pumping money into it. That's just what I've heard, or maybe I've misheard. I don't know.
I mean, you definitely don't. There's definitely no like need to spend any money to like just to play the story or whatever, progress in like stats.
Gotcha.
But if you really, but they make the characters appealing enough in terms of story and background and everything that the players want them, and of course for
Gotcha.
like abilities and skills and stuff. So people will drop
Okay.
fat money even though it's not too difficult to get your 5-star characters with saving up for, let's say, a month or two in premium currency
Crazy.
to get enough
I
to
don't.
at least hit the pity roll.
Yeah, I still can't like understand the sort of putting money into something that I feel like I've grown a little to where if you put a lot of money into something that you spend a lot of time with, like you've made back your investment, but like just sinking your time into essentially a skin and a few skills and stuff, that's such a foreign concept to me. Like I don't know.
think the
But
the bigger money sink is that you can level up the character 6 more times by rolling that character 6 more times, like a limit break. I think that's where a lot of money disappears into.
sure. Well, yeah, I'm trying to even picture Genshin and like a blue-haired anime girl is popping up, and I'm not sure that's the same thing. So I'm out of the Genshin loop. But it's great that it's still going and it's going strong, and that the final, I guess, story thing is finally there. That's kind of crazy that
Well,
it
that's just for
hasn't
this
been there.
region.
Mm,
We're
okay.
in the fourth region now, and there's supposed to be 7 total.
Damn.
So it's gonna go long into, if we do one region every 9 months or so, maybe a year. Could be, yeah, 4 more years at least.
That's some crazy life. That's crazy. But they know how to maximize their profit for their game, so good on them. That's pretty awesome. Especially for, I assume, not an MMO, but a single player experience. So that's pretty neat. Cool. Well, before I wrap it up with my last few things, I guess that was it for you. So I guess I can go ahead and wrap up really quickly. Really, really rapid fire. Because I guess I can talk about manga that I'm currently reading. Dragon's Quest: The Adventures of Dai. Viz is putting out, I wouldn't call them omnibuses, but collected editions with multiple volumes. Currently we're at volume 4 with 5 on the way. It's really good. Really, really good if you like shonen, if you like Dragon Quest. I highly recommend that series. My Son and Koku, which I touched on earlier. The final volume of the collected edition volume, so volume 10, comes out next month. I'm excited to end that series of romance stories so we can finally move on from this love triangle. Please, oh my gosh, get me out of the loop. Please. Let me see. Shaman King also has the collected omnibus editions with, I don't, hold on, let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I believe 11. 11 should be on the way, with the final collected edition coming out next month, or maybe sometime in 2023. This is my first time reading Shaman King, like the manga, because I had an early, back when Viz actually printed the actual Shonen Jump magazines in English. I read it there once, and then I watched some of the episodes on like 4Kids or maybe Foxbox, whichever syndication it was on. I watched the English 4Kids version, and I loved it. And so when they announced that they were bringing back all the Shaman King stuff, like, I was ecstatic. It is a really, really good shonen series. It's very interesting. Its history. It was originally a Shonen Jump series, but then the author took his rights back from Shonen Jump, and now it's published with Kodansha. So Kodansha has been doing the new versions, and the new versions have updated art panels with new art from the author and new little comics. It's pretty neat, and he updated some of the chapter pages and other stuff like that. But it's been a very, very fun read. I'm kind of sad to see it end, but like, it's got twists and turns. It's got action. It really touches on like Native American stuff and religion. To not really religion, but like the afterlife and spirits and all that different stuff. It is a fun, very fun series. Highly, highly recommend. So I'm excited to sort of get to the end of that. Fist of the North Star is also doing collected. Viz is going insane with their the releases. This one's hardcover. Currently we're up to volume 6 with 7 coming out next month. The story is getting pretty good. We finally gotten the Toki. Well, for those who know anything about Fist of the North Star, they're just really fun reads if you like 80s Bruce Lee action in the apocalypse. It's just a fun time. Like, if you just want Desert Jesus just walking around fucking up stuff, that's Hokuto no Ken. There's not much more to say about that. High Score Girl, which actually has an adaptation on Netflix, a 3D adaptation. But Square Enix has actually been releasing this one in English over here. Well, I think Square Enix owns the series in Japan as well. But they've been releasing that one. The final volume for that one, which is also volume 10, releases next month as well. Everything drops next month. Like it's just crazy how many releases drop next month. High Score Girl centers around basically a kid. I forget. That may be the. I'm trying to think when Street Fighter 2 came out. That has to be the 80s. If that's not the late 80s, it's early 90s. But it centers around the arcade culture, and it's about this kid back when he's in elementary school with this girl who they both frequent the arcade, and it's sort of a romantic comedy with a large focus on arcade culture and other things like that. So it really appealed to me from my love of fighting games, and it's also a pretty good story. The art it's got a very unique art style. I actually know the artist. I can't think of the name right now though, but they do art for some of the arcades in Japan currently. For example, I think they do some stuff for Mikaido. I think I could be misquoting, but I know their art pieces are used for promotional for one of the arcades. Anyways, that series finally ends next month for us, so I'm excited for that one. Right next to it on my shelf actually is Rooster Fighter, um, which is published by Viz. The first volume dropped a few months back. That is crazy. It's got awesome art with a nonsensical plot about a rooster that is out for revenge against the monsters that are plaguing the earth. And the rooster fucks.
What?
So that's yes. He in the first few pages he is tearing up a hen. So I highly recommend Rooster Fighter. It's just a fun little comedy action series with a rooster that kicks kaiju ass. There's really no way else to explain that. A rooster out on revenge. Let me see. Is there anything else before I get to the meat and potatoes?
You haven't gotten to the meat and potatoes yet.
Yeah, I'm just highlighting all of my concurrent things I'm reading.
Oh my god.
I read a lot, man. I'm still waiting on Radiant. Radiant is kind of slow, so I won't talk about Radiant, but Radiant's pretty good too. It's the first French manga. Which is pretty cool. I won't talk about these other things. Let's get to the meat and potatoes.
We're 2.5 hours in.
We're 2.5 hours in, yes. All right. Levius. Have you ever heard of Levius?
Nope.
Okay. It does have anime on Netflix. I don't know of the quality of that, so I'm not going to say anything about that. But I am going to talk about the manga. So there's the original series called Levius, and then there's the sequel series called Levius Est. Levius comes in this beautiful hardcover book. The interesting about it is that it's actually written left to right. It is by a Japanese artist, but it's done left to right like an English book. It's got a beautiful like art style to it. Like every page is just beautiful. Like it's just a really nice looking series. My only gripe with the art is just that for an action series, and I'll get into the synopsis, it's very hard to know sort of what's going on in the action. It's way more enjoyable when the characters are talking, which shouldn't necessarily be the case. Like the action should flow well, like you should be able to know what's going on in the action. But I did have a bit of trouble like understanding the direction and flow of like how the fighters were actually fighting in the series. To basically describe Levius, it's set in like maybe the 1800s, 1700s. And centers around this main character named Levius, who, it's centered in this world where they use steam. So maybe I'm probably going way too far back. I forget when steam was a main resource for like locomotion and all of these other factors when it was used primarily as an energy source. But in this world, steam has taken on much larger use. And they have a main activity in this world with Steam is UFC fighting. So a lot of the combatants are powered by mechanical augmentations that utilize Steam. Levius is one of those fighters. Unlike the other combatants who use military grade equipment, Levius uses a medical arm that he got when he was saved by his mother when he lost his arm back in a war that occurred. And really it just follows Levius, his pursuit to climb the UFC rankings, or I say UFC, MMA, the MMA rankings, while also fighting against the evil organization that was sort of at the center of some of the catastrophes that happened in the past. When I say it like that, it makes it more generic than it is. It's a really, really good story. Levius is a great prequel that leads into Levius Est. Levius Est, the sequel, immediately picks up from where Levius ends, and unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, it's in multiple volumes, so like 1 to 10. It was a really good sleeper read that I just picked up at a glance. Like I just saw it randomly. I saw the front cover for Levius, and I was like, I gotta try this. I bought it. It was awesome. Found the sequel series for very cheap on eBay, and I was like, gimme. And it was just a very good surprise, like sort of. I wouldn't even call it shonen. Like it's just a good story, maybe seinen with good action, good plot, good characters. The ending is a little sad, but also very hopeful. Um, None of the characters overstayed the welcome. None of the characters were overly annoying. Like it was just a fun series. So definitely a 9 type of manga that I would highly suggest people read. Definitely a sleeper hit. I don't know too many people who know about it because honestly, I just randomly came across it and gave it a try. So that's my suggestion. Since we have gone on for so long, I want to like spend some time talking about Genshiken. So I'm not gonna say anything about Genshiken here. All I'm gonna say is that it's a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Like it is an awesome series. It definitely made me feel. It personally put a lot of feelings into me as far as like the whole otaku weeb nerd culture sort of thing. It was just a fun story. It had good lessons in it. When I say lessons, like it had good like messages, fun stories. Highly enjoyed it. I even found the manga for cheap just because I just wanted to own everything Genshiken. Unfortunately, the sequel series is like $200, so I'm not buying that ever. But like Genshiken was just like if you like shows that sort of dive into the otaku culture sort of thing, but not like heavy-handed. Like it parodies it a little bit, but like there's a lot of realism here. There's a lot of soul to the characters. Like the characters are relatable. They're fun. You know, there are situations in it that are just really good. Like, and if you're a part of the culture, it'll mean a lot more to you than if you're not a part of the culture. Like if you were just a casual watcher, I don't know if it would hit you the same as it does if you watch it. And maybe I'm over glorifying it. Maybe another nerd or otaku will watch it and be like, okay, it's okay, I guess. But for me, it hit a lot of personal sort of feelings and notes with all of the characters, the non-nerds, the nerds, the relationship stuff, all that different stuff. So definitely a 10 out of 10 series. I could watch it again. I'll say that the second season is a lot more risque than the first season, but that's okay. The entire series is fun. If anybody wants to send me the Blu-ray copy of the second generation or the second season or whatever it's called, I would love you forever. Because again, it's just too expensive, and I hate Aniplex, and I hate the fact that their freaking sets are so expensive and you can't buy them because they're just so expensive. Why?
Levius. I'm looking at the art right now and it looks fabulous.
It's so good.
And
It's so good.
I can't believe what Netflix did to it.
Yes, I've seen like a screenshot of the Netflix adaptation, and I was just like, nope.
How dare they?
Like,
Jeez.
nope. But you know what?
What a travesty.
I would be fine as long as the story stays intact or the pacing stays intact. But I feel like it's not. Like I'm scared to watch it because I went through Levius, and I promise you, like it is just a beautiful, like it's not even that deep of a story, but like it's just a beautiful read. I think that's the best way to put it. It's a beautiful read with a fun plot and some fun characters. And I just look at that Netflix adaptation, and I feel like the adaptation could improve on the one issue I have with Levius, which is, the flow of action in the panels. And like they just botched it. They just botched it. Makes me sad. Makes me sad. But sorry, yes, Levius. I could talk about Levius a lot more, but trying to give an overview of it.
Okay.
It is fair.
The second thing, speaking of raging against the big corpo companies.
Yep.
Katakawa buys Anime News Network
I saw that. I did see that.
about a week ago, November 1st.
That's why my site is more important than ever.
See, one side of me is like, yeah, it kind of sucks. The independent network is now acquired after being 24 years since it's founded, independent, but now it's big corpo. But on the other hand, I was like, how bad could it be? Half of their news is pretty much useless anyway.
Yeah. I think my feeling with it is the same that I had for Right Stuff. I'm happy to see people who have spent years of their lives, you know, doing things for the fandom, for the things that they love, finally get finally get paid good money for it. Like Anime News Network is probably one of the biggest databases for anime, one of the cleanest ones at that. And you know what? I think people deserve to be paid for the work that they've done. I would never be mad at somebody for, you know, selling their hard work, you know, if they want to and if they're going to make good money from it. And from what I read from the owner, I mean, it really helps them. They don't have to worry about ads, you know, or trying to fund the site from other sort of means. Like now they just, you know, it can just exist. They can focus on the content more so than the upkeep. And so I'm happy for them. And I mean, again, it's a fantastic site. I think they do good news as far as like keeping us up to date with what's going on in the anime world all around the world. So good on them. Good on them. Good on them and Right Stuff. But big corpo owning stuff is bad though. That's still bad. Monopolies are not good. But you know, if anybody had to buy them, I guess Katakawa is fine. I guess. I guess.
I mean, who could be worse? What could be worse?
Good question. I don't know. Disney buying them, that'd be worse.
That could definitely be a lot worse. Holy, that could be so bad.
That could be horrible. That could be very horrible. Hell, even Sony probably could be worse. You know.
Yeah, I'd say that's worse. At least it's a publishing house network.
Yeah.
And not a mega brand.
Yeah. Which could be weird, you know, having Katakawa own this huge database for like competitions stuff. But you know, I don't know what their plans for. I'm interested to see what their plans are with it. It's definitely going to be to make their stuff more focused. I can guarantee you that. They definitely probably looked at the traffic for and we're like, yeah, we want to buy this so that we can direct people to our stuff. But I'm curious to see how reporting of other, you know, publishers and groups will look in the future.
I will say, like, I don't know. They're old or current. I don't know if they fully transferred over yet, but their opinion and review pieces pretty trash, very trash sometimes.
I think it depends. The some of the opinion pieces or some of the pieces that I've read, I don't know, it just depends on who's writing them. I like generally the stuff I read from the two of the guys that I know are affiliated with Discotech. I can't think of their names right now, but I don't know too many of the people on the site, so I can't claim to know who's trash and who's not. I just know the site is pretty helpful sometimes. Now sometimes I don't. Actually, a lot of times I don't necessarily agree with their opinions, but they, at least with the opinion pieces, it sort of gives me an idea of what it is I'm either looking into buying or watching. So there's that.
Well, at least I learned one thing from it today. Apparently, the Yamato 2199 manga resumes after 5 years.
That's crazy.
That's interesting. I don't read it, but it's news.
Maybe one day I'll actually read my copy of Space Battleship Yamato. It's sitting up there, waiting on me to read it. One day.
It's been I have 2 hours 48 minutes on my recording.
2 hours and 48 minutes. That means an hour and 25 minutes.
That's gonna be cut in half.
Yes, that's what that means.
Cut out a lot of the silences too. Some things that I didn't get to touch on, I forgot. Like the Kaguya-sama manga ended officially. What was the other thing? Dang, I forgot. I didn't get to talk about Spy Family. Good.
I mean, that's really all you got to say about that. I imagine it's good. Yeah.
Well, that's true.
If we're doing,
yeah.
What was you about to say?
Yeah, there's not much else to say about it. It's good.
Oh, yeah. I was just gonna say we're doing like last minute plugs. Maybe I'll talk about this in 2024 when we do our next podcast. The discotheque releases have been on fire. I really want to talk about some recent ones that they have coming up, which is Gal Geiger, King of the Braves, and Virtua Fighter. So yeah, I will definitely be talking about those next time because depending on when we record again, I will have those in my possession and I will be very happy.
Haha.
You don't know how excited I am for both of those. I'm so excited. Like I'm so excited.
What
Don't worry.
else? Last minute plugs. Shinkai movie. November 11th. This Friday, Japan event and US eventually.
One Piece movie. I don't know when, but it's supposed to be in theaters over here at some point.
Over here,
Yeah.
man.
Now I don't know if our local ones are getting it, but I know theaters in the United States are getting it. I haven't checked. I need to check. Which reminds me, Dragon Ball Super Hero. That was a 9.5 movie. I hesitate to give it a 10. I want to give it a 10, but I feel like I give stuff too high numbers. Fuck it, it was a 10 for me. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. That was a 10. That was a 10 Dragon Ball movie. So I would buy it, watch it again multiple times. And that was some of the best CGI I've ever seen, particularly out of Japan anyways.
It's 11:50. Gotta get up for work tomorrow. I gotta go in the office tomorrow, man.
Yeah, you gotta do what I do.
I might not have to work, but that's also pretty
That's
boring if
mad.
I'm in the office.
Well, that's when you entertain yourself, man. You just find something to do that makes you seem like you're working for the benefit of the group.
We're understaffed anyway, so a break's not too bad.
Well, well, since you said like whatever I was working on is, I guess, the threshold of making it for your position. They don't want to like put me on a soft fund position
I mean,
where
we
I work
did have
dual.
a designer 2 position open up.
Yeah.
It's
I
available.
don't I don't know if I could be a designer too. We'll see though.
I mean, it's basically what you're doing, making custom sites. Not from scratch, fully, but like customizable.
I'd have to learn whatever y'all are, which I guess it wouldn't take me that long. I guess as long as you have an understanding of how a site works, I'm sure they probably, I guess, take you, I guess.
Twig,
So,
CSS, basically that. Some JavaScript sometimes.
gotcha. My plan is to go through JavaScript tomorrow. Maybe I'll start my
They're not even full stack. They're front end.
Interesting.
We have a separate position for full stack.
Gotcha. It is my plan to become a full stack developer and then
Make stacks.
make stacks, make lots of stacks. Gosh. Oh yeah. Anyway, let's end this real quick because we're just chatting now, and we probably should go to sleep soon. So I don't know how to end these things. These things always just end so awkwardly. One day we'll figure out how to end a thing, but any cringy like YouTube things that you want to say?
Gonna light up this Blinkerton from Benjamin City. Shall we? Cheers, my friends. There's no way you understood any of that.
I was about. Is that something they really say? I don't know what's going on.
There's no way you understood any of that.
Yeah, I'm out of the loop. So you know, I'm just gonna end this. Bye from Penderton. What the hell did you even just say? What?
See you next live, dudes. Oh,
I pressed the wrong button.
wow.
That's how you know I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. Anyways,
Wow.
ended it for real now.
See you next
But
decade.